My name is Brent Williamson. Today I'm going to show you the Duplex pump project. So this project was built to simulate a water level control system. The goal for this project was to maintain a level in this bottom tank with the two variable speed pumps and to simulate inflow of water into the system. We open and close this valve between the two tanks manually. I programmed several modes of operation into this system, but I'll talk about them a little bit later. First, let's talk about the components of this system and a little bit of the process that I went through. We have a pressure sensor in the bottom of this tank, and then of course we got the two variable speed pumps on the bottom, which pump the water back up to the top tank, and our control cabinet. Let's take a look inside. So this is a control cabinet as I got it when it started. We have the two variable frequency drives, which control the speed of the two pumps. Ethernet switch. Since this project, everything communicates over Ethernet. So we have a switch in here, and this is the remote rack. Since our PLC is in another room, we have a remote rack and it communicates via Ethernet. And then we have our safety relay, and then our low voltage transformer. So all our control wiring is 24 volts. For the project plan, I started by writing the plan down, and I did a conceptual drawing so that I had a clear idea of what I wanted the project to do. I also did a networking map since this project had a lot of network communication, and then laid out what all the devices were and the IP addresses. And then I did all the CAD drawings. Once those were completed, I wired everything up, went through the commissioning process, and then once I had power to the devices, I started the PLC program and the HMI design. And once those were completed, I started testing the operation of the system. This is a picture of the final cabinet, so you can see all the control wiring. Let's take a look at some of the CAD drawings that I did for this project. So this is the conceptual drawing. So it basically lays out the project, the structure, and then you can see how I did the arrows of the water flow and the description of the goal of the project. And then I went into the panel drawing, which is the cabinet. So you can see all the components were drawn into this cabinet. And then I went into the high voltage wiring diagram. So this is everything 120 volts and up. So we have our main power, which is a 208 volt single phase 4-wire system. That comes into our main disconnect on the side of the project, and then from there it goes into a breaker in the cabinet, and then it kind of splits off, goes into the VFDs, and VFDs are single phase input and then 3-phase output to the motors. And then I did the low voltage wiring diagram. So this is all the 24 volt stuff. We have all our components that require 24 volt power, all our cards. And then this is the power supply diagram. And then our VFD safety circuits. So you can see they have dual channel safety circuits. And then this is our banner e-stop relay. So I won't go into great depth of the PLC program, but I use Studio 5000 with a Compact Logix PLC. And I broke it down into subroutines, so the main routine for the main operation, and then there's a HOA for the selector switch, my math routine, a non-PID logic for just the normal level control, and then the PID routine, and then the timers and counters. So I was able to just enable and disable the ladder that I wanted to use for the mode of operation. I'm going to show you around the HMI. So since there's no physical buttons on the control panel besides the e-stop and the reset, this is like the operator's control station for the project. So on our home screen, we have logins for different users for security purpose. So you can see that I'm logged in as the janitor right now. So you don't want your janitor to be able to access all your set points to change modes of operation. So if I try to go into those set points, it's not going to let me. It'll say access denied because the janitor doesn't have security clearances to get into those set points. So if I go back and log out and log in as the maintenance tech, I'll have access to all those screens and I'll show you around. And this displays which user you're logged in as. I'm going to go to the main screen. So this is the main display for the system. It displays tank level. If the pumps are running, it'll show the water. The pipes will turn blue. There's a start stop for the system and a system enable. So I can shut it off. You can see that the system enable shuts off. There's also the modes of operations right here. So we have the pump 1 manual, the auto mode, pump 2 manual, and also the PID control. I'm going to go to the pump 1 manual and go to the pump screen. So the pump screen, this is more detailed information about each individual pump. So you have your speed at which the motor is currently running, the start cycles, so the number of times the pump is started, and there is a counter set up for that. So when it hits the counter done, it has a alarm that pops up on the screen to alert so that maintenance can be done. And also there's the hours, run times, and minutes, and there's a timer on there. So when it hits the preset, it also pops up an alarm so that you can also set up maintenance schedules. And then those resets for those individual pumps are down here. I can disable the pump if I need to work on it, or if there's something wrong with the pump, just hit the disabled. And there's also an alarm that pops up alerting the operators, and it puts it into the history as well. And then there's the reset VFD fault. So if there's a fault on the VFD, there's a pop-up that pops up, and then I can reset the fault from here instead of having to open up the control cabinet. You got to go to each pump individually to reset the fault. And then when in manual mode, you can see that I got the manual start and stop down in this corner, and then the input frequency. So if I want to choose which speed I want to run the motor at, I can either use the slider or click on the number. So if I go back to the main, go to auto mode, and you can see the manual start and stop disappear, but I can still select the speed at which I want to run my pumps in auto mode. I just can't manually start and stop them. The next, we're going to go into the alarms. So this is alarm history, but there's a number of alarms configured for this, like the VFD faulted, the e-stop press, so to name a few of them. And then we'll go into the trending page. So nothing's happening right now, so I'll go into more detail of this page a little bit later when the pump's actually operating. And then the last page is the set point page. So this is where only certain users have access to, because you don't want everyone changing your set points. So these are like the level set points. So you have your high level, which is gonna set a alarm when it hits that level. Also the low level has an alarm, but when it hits the low level, it disables all the pumps so that they won't run dry. And then these two, the high set point and the low set point, are used for the auto mode. The high set point is when the pump will start, and it'll pump it down to the low set point. So those can be changed to whatever you set the system up for. And then there's a PID set point. So the system's going to try and maintain this level of tanks, 25% right now. And then this side is more of the timers and counters, like I was talking about before. The pumps, each individual, the cycle counter. So after 25 starts, you're going to get an alarm, and then there's a run maintenance hours. So every 10 hours, you're going to get an alarm that pops up on the screen. and the same thing for pump 2. And then down here we have the single pump run timer. So this is to keep from extra wear on the one pump and try to even out the load. So if one pump's running for by itself for currently 2 minutes, it'll switch in either add another pump to the system and both be pumping, or else in the PID mode it'll switch which one's pumping. And then there's the PID toggle timer, so it'll toggle which pump is in the lead. So I'm going to show you some of the different modes of operation. Right now we're in auto mode, so I'll open the valve and you can see how the system reacts. Enable the system first. So once the set point gets above the high set point, it's going to kick on the pump and try pumping it back down to the low. But if I leave the valve open and the one pump runs for too long, it'll kick in the second pump. And we can go into the pump screen. You can see the pump 2 is activated and it's running at 60 hertz. Now you can see the timer timed out, so it kicked in the second pump. Now both pumps are running. It'll try to pump it back down to the low set point. But since the valve's all the way open, it won't pump down until I shut it. Now I'm going to show you the PID control. I'll open and close the valve so you can see how the system reacts automatically to try and maintain the level in the tank. First, we need to activate this PID. So if I open the valve a little bit, it'll just use the one pump to try and maintain the level. If it gets up to a certain point, it'll kick in the second pump. So if I give it a blast of water, it's going to see that. It'll react by kicking both pumps into full speed. The pump 1 cycle alarm popped up, so the pump has started the number of times that was set in the set point, so its maintenance was due. And there you can see the toggle PID timer timed out. So switch which pump was in the lead. This system just runs efficiently, as well as it keeps the wear and tear on the pumps to a minimum. I've covered some of the safety aspects of the project throughout the video, but I wanted to touch on it again. All the safety devices are dual channel with redundancy and also interlocked, so that if one of the safety circuits goes bad or faults out, then the whole system shuts down. And another thing is the system is a very robust, adaptable system with all the different modes of operation and different set points you can easily change. It'll fit in many situations. That's all I have for now, and thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.